This is PsychBoost. In this session we're going to talk about the control of extraneous variables. If I can just remind you as you listen to this video to write the Cornell notes as best you can and also answer the questions that I'll ask as we go through the video. Once you've finished, write this up as neatly as you can into your mind map and have a little look through some of the additional textbooks. Okay, so we've mentioned what extraneous variables are. Now we're going to need to look at how we might go about reducing their effects on our research. So we'll start off with order effects. So we spoke about repeated measures design and how participants who went through condition 1 then would become either more practiced or tired or generally kind of a bit more clued in by the time they get to the second condition. That would mean that we would find a difference between condition 1 and condition 2 just because the participants became more practiced. One way to minimize this would be a process called counterbalancing. This means that we would have half the participants do condition 1 first and then move on to condition 2. But then the other half of our participants we would have do condition 2 first and then condition 1, and then we'll just add the results together as these are all the participants who did condition 1, these are all the participants who did condition 2. Now what you would hope for then is that any differences due to being more tired or being more practiced would actually just cancel each other out. So participant variables. We talked about independent groups design and how if we have two groups, one group doing condition 1, one group doing condition 2, we might find that actually there are some just differences between the groups. Maybe there's an imbalance in genders or age or education levels. Now what we might try and do is a random allocation. This is a quite simple method. We would just maybe use the names in the hat method or a random number generator to randomly assign people between groups. Hopefully that will remove any bias from the researcher potentially putting, the people he wants to be in one group in the hopes of getting the result that they want. But a much better way of going about this would be a matched pairs design. So we've spoken about how to go about producing a matched pair design by matching by characteristics. Okay, situational variables. So what we might find here is the situation itself could influence the results of the participants. Now this could be something like noise. So maybe you've got people coming in during the day to take part in your experiment, but in the afternoon there's some roadworks and you find that actually there's a problem here where people are getting distracted by the roadworks. Or perhaps you've got different investigators coming in and the instructions are not so great. Maybe what you want to come up with is a standard procedure list. So this is a set of things to try and keep in mind at each stage of the experiment. So to check that there isn't a problem with the noise or the lighting level or the temperature, and you check to see that the situation is as standard as it can be for each of the participants, so they all have the same experience going through the experiments. Next we have investigator effects. So this is the behavior of the investigator or even the personality characteristics the investigator affects the participants rather than any effect of the IV that you're looking for. Now one way to get around this is something called the double blind. So if it is maybe perhaps subconscious signals that the investigator is given, so if you're dedicating your life to a particular area of psychological research, you might really want to find something out that's going to mean that you can publish some research. Now maybe not consciously you're giving away what you want to find, but perhaps unconsciously you might do some very small things to hint at the results that you want. A safer way might be to pass on the research to somebody else, someone who isn't aware of what the aims, what the true nature of the experiment is, to simply carry out the standard procedures. In that way, they can't give away the results because the experimenter carrying out the research doesn't know what's wanted to be found. So the double blind means the participant doesn't know what's going on when they're taking the experiment, and the experimenter at the time doesn't. And similar to standardized procedures, where you might check that they all have the same experience, you might have some standardized instructions. So maybe a list that is read out to the participants, so that maybe slight changes in the way that the instructions are given aren't going to influence the responses. Okay, that's it.